Hey everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the GingerBeardMark podcast. Now, don't forget, if you're listening to this, you can go over to YouTube. The GingerBeardMark.com will take you straight to the YouTube channel, and you can watch all these. So if you're just an audio subscriber, you can go and watch these and check out some of the great facial expressions I do while I say, yeah. And likewise, if you just watch these and you think, these are good, yeah, oh, hopefully you think that. But I wish I could listen to them on the buzz. You can just go to wherever you get your podcast from and type in the GingerBeardMark podcast, and they'll come up. But this week's guest I've got to talk about first. Mr. Tony Law. I've been wanting to talk to Tony for ages, and he was just as funny and just as charming as I hoped he would be. And you'll see that I had a lot of questions for Tony, but it kind of just turned into us chatting for the most part and making plans for the future, as you'll hear towards the end. So MrTonyLaw.com is Tony's website. Go check if he's coming to anywhere near you and get some tickets. So without further ado, this week's guest, Mr. Tony Law. How are you, Tony?
I'm great.
I don't know. Shouldn't have done that while you were drinking.
I promote Diet Coke too much. I'm in a linen cupboard right now. I converted a linen cupboard into a studio.
Yeah.
And it gets hot in here, especially when the kids or anybody's having a bath. The pipes run through here. And so it gets hot, so I have some ice-cold Diet Cokes ready to roll.
Yeah, so you've took an airing cupboard, which is probably the hottest room in most people's house, and soundproofed it.
Yeah. So up here is like it's funny that it's called a linen cupboard, as if I live in a mansion where I need loads of linen. So there is linen up here, I guess, like bed sheets, stuff like that. And then there's a sleeping bag, and then here's where I've got my laptop and my sound thing. And then down here, pillows, pillowcases, and then Hoover. Yeah, it's pretty packed in here. And sleeping bags for camping. So.
And you were saying before that before we started that you've recorded some audio books in there.
Yeah, I did one. I thought this was going to change my life. I got It was like right when the lockdown first started, and my voiceover agent came through and said, we've got some people who want you to do an audiobook. And I thought, holy fuck, I'm going to be one of these lucky pricks who rides out the lockdown. Oh my God, this is going to be it. And so my wife, who's clever, she soundproofed all the bits behind me that aren't linen. Like, it's so silent in here. I'm in the middle of a third floor flat in Islington, where it's busy out there, and there's drunks out there and some heroin addicts over there. We're not in the good part of Islington, but there's loads of shit, but you can't hear a thing. So one of the things they liked about me was that I had my own home studio, which is a cupboard, and but they said, just do what you want. And I was asking for direction, like, what do you want? I'm reading 20,000 Leagues Below the Sea, or whatever it is. I don't even remember it, so that might be. And they're like, we just want Tony Law to be Tony Law. So I made like Captain Ahab, a Northerner. I made him like, I'm Captain fucking Ahab, blah blah. And I thought it was brilliant, and they thought it was brilliant. But loads of the people who listen to audiobooks and put their comments on didn't like it. So I haven't done another one of those. But I do voiceovers in here, so it's all right. It's working out good. During lockdown, you did like a Twitch thing called the Tone Zone, where you had, well, I was going to say interviews, but they weren't really interviews, were they? They were sort of just you hanging out with people. Yeah, it's usually with me and Phil Nickel, just trying to be we couldn't really figure out the format. We're just trying to be as funny as we could and as stupid as we could. And I loved it when Phil was with me. But then at one point, Phil Nickel just went, I don't know, I'm too, this lockdown's getting me. And doing this is making me think about what I'm not doing out there, which is it was tough for him. So anyway, Phil stopped doing it, and then it was just me and Kai, the sound, our guy who organized it, who's out in Norfolk, and Kai was brilliant. And then Kai and I started doing a thing together where I said, just give yourself like a comedy voice, a high voice. Like one of those high pitched voices. I loved it. Anyway, it was going pretty good, but lockdowns ended, and we were doing Wednesdays and Sundays, and as soon as I started getting gigs on Wednesdays and Sundays, I couldn't do it, and so anyway, we're working out a way to try and bring it back.
It felt like it really worked for you because obviously, barring a few things, you can do whatever you want. And that sort of seemed to work for you, your style of comedy is that you can just go on whatever flights of fancy you want.
I loved it. And my favorite was when both Phil and Kai and me were all on it, and everyone's chit-chatting away. It was awesome. But I guess we didn't, put aside some days a week and just stuck to it. But I guess the lockdown really drained a lot of people because, you need money, right? And then, during the lockdown when you couldn't make money, there was no, it was awesome. This is all we had. But as soon as you could make money, if someone offers you 150 quid to do a gig over at, Milton Keynes, you go, oh, guys, I got to do it. And then Phil got a job in the West End, and then it was like, And so poor old Kai's just like, well, I'm trying to organize gig. It's not the same as doing like a Twitch stream where it's just you on your own. Yeah. And also for me to just do a solo Twitch stream, I'm like in a small flat with a whole family. And to get everything out of this cupboard and then get into the cupboard is anyway, I'm whining and making...
So it's serving as a predominantly a linen cupboard, and then you have to pull everything out to record.
So I got to get so I take out the mop bucket and the mops. There's a couple of those clothing things that you press a button and then it flares out, and then you can hang stuff on it. And then there's the dog food bag, because we've got way too many dogs in here. What else we got in here? Normally there's the Hoover. I've moved, actually. That's a lie saying there's a Hoover. But there's the dog food. There's loads of other weird stuff. There's a bag with Frisbees in it. And I'm like, I don't even remember us as a family ever playing Frisbee, but there's Frisbees. My wife likes to throw stuff out or give it to charity that we don't use, and I am a hoarder.
Okay.
So I'm I'm working against myself. This is a cupboard I need as a studio. And yet I still find ways of sticking stuff in there, like dolls, skating helmets my daughter doesn't use because they're not safe. And they're going to throw that out. Loads of stuff like that. What else is out there? Oh, yeah, some pillows and blankets that are, it's too much.
I appreciate the effort, though, that you've had to move all that out to talk to me.
Oh, no. Yeah, that psychologically says everything you need to know about me is I'm always put on other people. I'm just putting that on you. All you've wanted is a podcast, and I've gone out of my way to make you feel bad about me just being on it.
Yeah, I'm gonna be in bed tonight going, you have to move the mop and bucket. You have to move
what
the
a
dog
fuck.
Food.
Jesus Christ, all I wanted to do is a podcast. This is my favorite joke of all time. Can you see me?
No.
Isn't that amazing?
It's just a girl looking out the window of a train.
Yeah, so
with a male Canadian accent.
Yeah, so I wanted to give the impression that I was on a train going on a journey. And that was the only photo I could find. But anyway.
Hey, before we get going any further, let's hear it for the infrastructure, am I right? I'm glad we've got it. I drove here tonight, guys, yeah? Paved roads all the way. Fucking paved roads, well done. All the wonderful men and women of the infrastructure, thank you for your service!
I used to open shows there for a while before the lockdown going, hey, let's hear it for the infrastructure. That was all I'd said. I mean, it's working. And like just being grateful was the whole joke. Being grateful for the infrastructure. And one guy came to me and he went, I work in the infrastructure and I love it. Like he was like genuinely grateful. It's like, I don't know. It's funny because like if you live in, I don't know, some places where people's jobs are journalism or, I don't know, something that's not connected to the world, that doesn't interest them, but it should, type of deal.
But I think like that level of gratitude is like I don't get public transport much, but like I always make a point of like still as an adult saying thank you when I get off to the driver, when I get off the bus and stuff like that. It's just that little level of
without you this wouldn't have happened. Thank you, sir. I love it. And I did this bit. I don't even like the bit because it can be taken two ways, but the way I mean it is like I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I had a poo yesterday, and I flushed it, and I thought, do you know what? I'm not dealing with that. Someone else can have it. And the whole point was, I'm trying to say, because there's so much kind of, I don't want to. Like it is. It's like class kind of division between people who do jobs that make the world work, happen to like Brexit, and people who don't. I had to bring up Brexit. Yeah. I think the thing that changed in my whole world, though, was one day just going, and I don't want to make it about that. I'm not. But what I just thought, everybody I seem to know hates Brexit and thinks everyone who votes for Brexit is a horrible piece of poop. And I thought that's not right. That's just not the world. And then so I went out of my way to escape my Islington bubble and meet people and go, oh yeah, no, phew, just what I thought. We're all, people, you know what I mean? It's like, I just don't have the vocabulary to explain, but it felt a lot better connecting and doing different gigs that I wouldn't have done before, and I didn't want to be siloed anymore into that. Yeah. So, man, I need more words. I need to read more again. I used to read a lot, but I don't read as much now.
No. I've got into the habit of audio books at the minute, and I'm not sure how good it is because like I enjoy them at the time, but I don't know whether I'm taking any of it in as much as I used to when I was reading a book.
That's
but
what I. That's my.
But
worry.
that was because it was a bit of a struggle to sit and read a book.
Yeah. I've got that same worry. Yeah, I listened to a audiobook about the Crusades, the first Crusade. Frankopan, and I thought, this is awesome. And I thought, I like a good podcast before I go to sleep. It helps me drift off. But if you forget to say turn off after 2 hours, it'll keep going. And then like 5 hours into your sleep, you'll be going, wow, I'm interested again. and I'm not sure that listening to something that is extremely interesting is the best way to fall asleep. And I mean, that's the thing. Headphones. Headphones. Here we go. Here's my big take. This is my cold take. My hot take is headphones have set sleeping back by 20 years. I don't know.
Especially like I've the little wireless. So they make
those
because I used to sleep in like wired headphones, and the amount of times I would wake up with them wrapped around my neck. It's like, this isn't good.
Yeah.
This isn't good.
Well, I lucked out and got a voiceover job where I made a little bit of money, and I bought myself a nice pair of beautiful proper headphones, but I slept in them. They got destroyed. Now they're all taped up. Then I bought another pair. Like the amount of money I've wasted on headphones from sleeping. So I don't know. I don't know what the answer is on that. I think those. Like, can you sleep in those cordless ones?
Yeah,
Or do you do that?
I do sleep in those cordless ones. Yeah.
Mm,
The only thing is, because they're connected to my phone, though, I have accidentally called people in the middle of the night.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I have this old pair of Bang& Olufsen pair that my wife, I remember she got them like 6 years ago, and they was like saved up for them. This awesome pair, and it stuck in my mind that she had saved up for them, so they must be the greatest things ever. And then she moved on and got another pair, and I thought, these are going to be mine. And she said, no, you got to worry about, they do phone people. Yeah, and they phone the last person you phoned. No, not the last person. Something like the 10th last person you phoned. Like a weird...
Yeah.
Anyway, I was phoning my family in Canada during a really traumatic time in their lives.
Surely that's expensive as well, phone in Canada.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good, but I destroyed all my other headphones. My life's been about headphones lately and escape.
Yeah.
Difficult to escape when it's all escapism.
That's
NFL,
deep.
that's
That
your
is deep.
answer. Yeah. I'm at my least deep tonight because I'm so exhausted from trying to fix mistakes I've done. Forgot to book that in. I'm late. Kid, gotta pick a kid up.
As soon as I came on, probably a lot of you went, this guy seems pretty fucking sorted out. now here's a guy who's done some therapy. Yep. You betcha, done some therapy. I don't even call it therapy anymore, I call it thaps. That's how hooked in I am. This time last year, I was actually still working class. But, not anymore, fuckers!
But this is how old I am. The first time I ever came over to Britain was just after the 1990 World Cup. And it was the first time it was on TV for us. And I just remember singing all the England songs. Not like this is the first time I'd ever heard of people singing England, England. And on my way over, everyone was at the back of the plane smoking. And the headphones were like hollow tubes.
Oh, yeah.
You know, yeah.
Like sort of
Which is
piped in, wasn't it?
Yeah. It's really old school. But anyway, sorry to derail it.
That's fine. I have you beat ever so slightly because I went to the first time I went to Canada was 1988 when I was in my mother's womb. My mum was heavily pregnant with me, and
they went over to Canada.
Over to Canada. So yeah, so I beat you by a couple of years.
What were they doing over there?
We got family over there.
All right.
So I suppose very lucky in that way that growing up we used to go to Canada sort of every couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, I was very fortunate to be able to go to Trinidad after they could afford to do it. In the 80s, we'd go. My mom's from Trinidad. Dad's a Canadian, but and he used to work down there. But yeah, geez, we used to go to Trinidad and Tobago. Looking back, I think, holy mackerel, was I ever lucky. Holy mackerel, I said that out loud. I have good memories of that place, of Trinidad and Tobago. And my mom used to have the accent and all that. And I still do it on stage now. Do her accent just to sort of taunt people a little bit. Just to wait for someone to go, you can't do that. But no one ever does, actually. There's not as many crazy sort of po-faced insane liberals that you're led to believe there are on the internet.
Like the real world isn't Twitter, is it? Like,
No.
In the real world people understand subtlety and context and whatever. It's not just like, I am furious about these words.
Yeah, no one's really that bad. Most people are all right. People are still as good as they always were. But social media makes you think that it's gone insane. I'm not sure it has.
No.
I don't think the world has gone insane. It has gone insane if you spend all your time on Twitter.
Yes.
But out in the gigs in Saddleworth the other night, no one's nuts there. They're just the same as they always were. It's great.
Just people.
And and the opposite of that is like doing a gig in London at a hipster gig or whatever. They're not nuts either. You go to the Bill Murray, everyone's fine. Everyone's fine. You can say whatever you want. I mean, if you say something that's horrific, it'll be the same as it used to be. Don't say anything horrific. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, and I get it's context, isn't it? And I can't. Again, I'm doing you now. I haven't got the words, but like, what you mean when you say something. Like, say you doing an impression of your mom is completely different to you affecting a voice to belittle somebody.
Yeah.
It's not a level playing field anymore. Comedy used to be for losers like us who had run out of life options. I ain't going to get no employment anytime soon. God damn it, this is the last straw for me. And I'm too soft for scaffolding, too soft.
How do you feel about Tim Hortons opening up loads of branches in the UK? Does that make you proud as a Canadian?
I didn't know that, and I've been out of Canada for long enough to not... Tim Hortons only reminds me of sadness because, well, when I go to Canada, as my parents aged, the only place they'd ever go was Tim Hortons. So we used to, years ago when I'd bring my family out, we could go and we'd go to a barbecue, or we might go to, a rib place, all that. But as they aged, the only place they would ever go was Tim Hortons. It's where old people go. It's like the waiting room for hell or heaven in Canada. Tim Hortons is where all the old people go. And they all go in there. It's like there's so few places for them to all meet up. There's no lodges or going down to the Legion. The legions have all closed down, and the churches have closed down. So all those old people from that generation are like, they got nowhere else to go, so they go to Tim Hortons. If you go to Ponoka, 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 they used to have a great rodeo there. But all the old people, it's kind of sad. They're all in there together they're all there in the Tim Hortons, and they're not eating donuts.
I'm sorry that my love of Tim Hortons donuts has brought up such dark memories.
Well, you got to go to Tim Hortons when you're over there, and you'll just see it's just all old folks. Which I got a thing where I love old folks too much. I've always loved old folks. They're I think if I'm gonna move into some sort of charity type things to help heal my soul, I think the charities I'm gonna work in are gonna be like going to spend time with old folks. I like them. I like old.
You can you can read to them, and that's almost like having the audiobook career that you want. It's just one at a time.
Yeah, I'll read to them one at a time in their bedrooms. Hey, where are you going? Get back here. For Christ's sakes. It's just like doing comedy. Rejecting me. There's going to be some downside, but I'll do that.
Okay,
We've settled that. We've settled that.
I think if I had to identify it as anything right at the moment, I identify as Neanderthal at the moment. My third favorite hominid. What's number 2, Tone? Homo florensis? Of course it is! Who wouldn't love the hobbit fuckers to be around now? Oh, they're only that big. And I reckon if they had survived, we would have been really good to them. Humans would have been really nice to the hobbit people.
And I was like, now I'm like, I could ask you a question, but now I'm worried I'm going to bring up something that's going to, trigger you to thinking of old people again.
No, I love old people. Love them. Yeah, that's going to be my mission going forward, is just hanging out with more old people. Ooh, I'm going to change my backdrop just for fun. You can ask me the next question, though.
Okay.
There we go. Look at this one. Look, I'm
That's a-
down in a. They're all going down a mine. It's an industrial type thing.
It's like they're going down the mine to see the rest of your body. It's like an Easter Island head where you're like, is there a body down there?
Get down there.
My question was, but you've sort of already answered it. It's like,
Oh,
you know, did you miss being on stage? Because I've spoken to a few comedians, and that was the big thing. Is like, yeah, I could do, you know, gigs on a lap, you know, online or whatever, but there's nothing quite like being with an audience in front of you.
oh, for sure. Yeah. I missed that a lot.
Yeah,
And anytime I've done like a solo tour, we're kind of spoilt since it's ended. Is like even when you do like a hostile club, everyone's still delighted. But the real ones for me is when I did a little tour show in Hull, for example. There's like 55 people in or whatever it was. And, you know, they're your fans and stuff. And it just, magic. Nothing like it. And then I did one in Leeds where it was all like, you know, like triple, third, fourth rebooking of the gig that was supposed to happen during the tour. And they make it. And I've loved that. But even at a Bear Pit comedy club, it's still nice. But those times when your fans come, and there's not many of them left anymore, you know, I've managed to whittle it down to the hardcore. But when they're there, it's like, it really, I love it. Love it.
do you still get a kick out of doing like the sort of, you know, the Bear Club sort of people that aren't necessarily there to see you? They're just there
I
to
do
see
more
comedy.
now than I did for a while because I was so up in my own arse doing just my own people for a long time. But now that I can't just do that to survive, that I've found a way to connect with people who are new. And that's been really good. So I did this one in Saddleworth where everybody in there was like, it was a community gig. So they're like people up to 80, right down to about 18. It was just a community of 300 people or 200 people. And none of them had seen me before. There was a few people who'd seen me before. And that kind of gave me a bit of a giddy up. But to win them over, and I thought, oh, this is what it was originally like. So in a way, so it was good. It's good. Like I'm winning new people, and I'm not having to be on TV to do it.
Yeah.
Which those days are gone.
Okay, so I feel like we've got to know each other a lot, and
A little bit, yeah. It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
And where can people find you, Tony, if they're looking for you?
Saturday, the 16th of October, big one coming up. Tony Law returns to Cornwall. I've got a huge following out there, which is mad. I went out there and I did that Port Elliot festival like 6 years ago or whatever. Absolutely destroyed it, and I kept doing the festival and winning. And I've gone out there and done so many amazing Cornwall shows. It's amazing when you go to a region and they think you're awesome. I think it's great. I've got these regions. There's another one, Brighton. That's on the 22nd of October. But Brighton loves me for some reason. Like I've had to rebook this gig 6 times and they're still coming. Not all of them. But I was building up something in Brighton. So I've got I'm more of like a fringe around. If you look at the UK, all around the edges loves Tony Law. Maybe right in the middle might be tougher.
Yeah,
Anyway,
well,
is that a good?
Yeah,
is that a good sales pitch?
I'm from the Midlands and I like you, so.
Oh, well, yeah.
Maybe I'm an outlier.
Well, the Wolves gig normally is like the promoter of the Wolves gig said. Normally we can at least get 97. He's very specific. I've never got less than 97 for you for this gig. And he's going, but they weren't booking this time, so we've rebooked it for February in Wolves.
But MrTonyLaw.com if people want to go and check the tour dates and see what you're up to.
Thanks for having me. Let's
fine.
do this again soon.
Yes,
then make it a themed one.
Oh,
where we talk about like industry.
Okay, yeah, infrastructure.
You have to polish yourself, Mark.